Okay, so Assalamualaikum and good morning to Madam Ju. So before I start my presentation, I would like to introduce myself and my team member. So I am Siti Azruna Fazira binti Rizam, and my team member is included with Izzah, Aiman and Nurul. So for this assignment 2 presentation, and the contract topic that we have chosen is buy salam. So first thing first, the introduction. So, buy salam is an Islamic contract in which full payment is made in advance for specific goods. It is often to use in agricultural product to be delivered at the future date. It is necessary that the quality of the commodity intended to be purchased is fully specified, leaving no ambiguity leading to dispute. For Islamic Bank, this product is an ideal for agriculture financing, but can also be used to other financing that working capital need to be to the business customer. So, it is one of the most popular Islamic modes of a finance used by bank in Islamic country to promote riba-free transaction. Okay, move to the definition. So the definition of buy salam for the literally means salam means giving, advance and leaving. And technically, salam means sales contract of a prescribed commodity sold as a deferred liability on one party in exchange for a price that is received during the contract session. So, buy salam or salam means a contract in which advance cash payment is made for good to be delivered later on. So, which means you pay first during the contract and then the goods will deliver later, okay? The seller undertake to supply some specific good to the buyer at the future date in exchange for an advance price fully paid at the time of contract. Okay. Evidence from primary and secondary source. Okay. For the primary, which is Al-Quran itself, there's some sentence which is in Surah Al-Baqarah in verse of 282, which have said, you who have believe when you contract a debt for a specific term, write it down. Okay. And the scholar have comment, which is Ibn Abbas, comment that I bear the witness that salam stipulated for a state term had been made legal by Allah in His holy book, and His permission is in it. He then recited the above verse. That was the evidence from the primary source, which is Al-Quran, and the second source is Hadith. The narrated by Ibn Abbas also, the messenger of Allah ﷺ come to Medina, and the society used to pay in advance the price of fruit to be delivered within 1 or 2 years. The sub-narrative is in doubt whether it was 1 to 2 years or 2 to 3 years. So, and the last sources is from Ijma', which is the secondary source. Okay, what I have said is every single jurist that we come across had given their consensus with regards to the permissibility of Bay al-Salam, particularly because the product in source is one of counter value in contract, similar to the permissibility of postponing the monetary payment, which is one of the counter value as well. So, which I can conclude is there is 3 evidence, which is from Al-Quran, Al-Quran, Hadith, and Ijma'. Okay, next. Pillar of contract. So, I from this pillar, there's five pillar of contract for the buy salam, which is first is you need to have the buyer, seller, price, product, offer, and acceptance. Okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And then I will continue with condition of buy salam. So there are many conditions for the buy salam. The first one is the price must be clearly determined and paid in full by the buyer at the time undertaking the sale to avoid later dispute. So the price tu mesti tetap lah. The price mesti tetap. Contohnya the price is the like RM60. So the end pun the buyer pun akan bayar RM60. Tak ada bertambah tiba jadi RM70. That means that right. So the second one, the seller must take possession of the price in full before departing one another, otherwise it will be tantamount to the sale of debt for a debt which is prohibited. So means that the seller kena dapat duit daripada jualan tu sepenuhnya lah. Tak boleh the seller tak boleh bagi customer untuk hutang dengan dia. Kalau tak nanti makin lama hutang, lepas tu bertambah hutang, so dia jadi prohibited. So for the third one, the commodity must be freely available in the market at the time of contract until the time of delivery to ensure the capability of the trader to deliver the product. So means that the good must be available, must be like exist from the time of the contract until the time of delivery. Maksudnya macam barang tu mestilah wujud untuk deliver barang tu kat customer kan. Kalau tak macam jual apa kan. Tak boleh tipu lah masuk kat situ. And then the quantity, weight and measure of the commodity must be agreed upon in equivocal terms. After that, the exact date and place of delivery must be specified in the contract. And lastly, sureless differ on the shortest duration of the time of delivery. Either 3 days, more than half a day, 30 days, or up to the contracting parties to decide. So means that the duration time of delivery tu maksudnya macam masa paling pendek 3 days lah. Paling lama 30 hari ataupun decide lah untuk dua parti tu untuk decide time delivery tu berapa lama. Dua parti kena agree lah with the time of delivery tu. And then for the types of buy salam contract is there are two types. There are two types of buy salam contract, which is the first one is the ordinary salam contract. And then the second one is the parallel salam contract. So for the ordinary salam contract that the nama for ordinary, so the normal salam contract that we know, which is involve two transacting parties, which is the buyer and the seller. So for the parallel salam contract, there is a contractual agreement consists of two different and independent contract, which is that the first situation that the bank is a seller. For the second situation that the bank is a buyer. So means that the two situation ni tak boleh campur, tak boleh cannot tied up. So should not be contingent upon the other. Then done. Thank you.
Yeah, as mentioned before, as we all know, asylum financing is a concept that is rarely used in Islamic banks products because in Islamic banks because it does not facilitate many advantages compared to other concept. Because the main reason of this is because this concept will make the customer paid in advance in advance, while the items will arrive at a later date. So this will be, so it surely will make it was clearly more different from um, other Islamic bank products. And the others surely provide better position for the customer who are in need, in which they will obtain the desired community with a deferred payment term. Okay. And in this Asalam financing, they are divided into three categories. The first one is hybrid Salam financing. The second one is Salam financing working capital, and the last one is uh, parallel Salam financing. Okay. This is the first category, which is the hybrid Salam financing. This concept is combining two principles, which is the Salam principle and the Bitaman Ajil, which is the deferred payment and advance payment. Okay, in this, okay, I will share a scenario to understand this category better. Okay, there will be four stage, and the first one is the identifying seller. As example, in this, the customer will need maybe 10 tons of rice from the seller with price maybe 18,000 ringgit, but the customer does not have enough does not enough cash. So um, the customer will need, so okay, so the customer will identify as a potential seller. And the second one, which is the application and promise stage, the customer will ask the bank to purchase the paddy via a salam financing product from the seller. In return, the customer will undertakes to purchase from the bank on a deferred payment term. And the third one, which is the salam sale. Maybe let's say it was on 20 January and on 20 January 2015. The bank purchased the 10 tons of rice um, from the seller with the purchase price, which is the 18,000 ringgit cash as the purchase price. So the rice will arrive to the bank and will be delivered to the bank at maybe later date, maybe on 20th April 2015. And the last stage, which is the deferred sale or ajal. So on the day when the rice will be delivered, okay, so on the last stage, which is the deferred sale, or we call ajal. Okay, let's say on the day the rice are delivered, um, which is on the 20th April 2015. Um, the After accepting the ownership of the paddy, the bank will sell the paddy to the customer with higher price, with higher price, or maybe at 25,000 ringgit on the basis of deferred payment within the period of 3 years. Okay, so in this case, so the customer obtains exactly 10 tons of rice needed for his retail trading, and the seller will obtain his wages early, and his agricultural business will keep running, and the bank will receive profit of 7,000 ringgit within the 3 years. and all of them are selling and buying through permissible course and contributing to the real economic development. This is the second category, which is the salam financing working capital. Okay. The scenario is, or maybe on certain date, we can choose certain date, maybe on 1st October 2015, the bank will purchase via a salam financing with 90 tons of well-described sugar with specific quality of sugar from company A, and they will pay 90,000 ringgit cash. 90,000 ringgit cash. So company A will obligated to pay to deliver the sugar on a later date, which is maybe on 1st December 2015. Okay. On the day the sugar will be delivered, which is on the 1st December 2015, the bank will appointed the company A as the agent, as its agent to sell the 90 tons of sugar to numerous customers with full agreed sum of money which has higher prices, with higher price, maybe 100, 104, 140,000 ringgit, 140,000 ringgit. So the balance of the selling price will be given to the company A as an agent incentive. Then company A will sell with much higher price. We sell all the rice with higher price, maybe at 160,000 ringgit, and give the bank its portion at its portion, which is 140,000 ringgit, and attend the incentive of 20,000 ringgit. Okay, as the result, company A will receive amounting of 20,000 ringgit and keep its business running. And company A will also obtain monetary capital amounting as much as 1,000 ringgit, 100,000 ringgit from the bank to Sharia compliant structure. And also, the bank will receive profit as much as 50,000 ringgit. And all of them are selling and buying through permissible course and contributing to the real economic development.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Muhammad Noor Aiman Muhammad Noor, and today I will be presenting on the topic of parallel Assalam financing. So Assalam contract can also be made applicable in parallel from between 2 or 3 parties. So the explanation on the parallel Assalam financing is that if the seller enters into another separate contract with a third party to acquire goods, the specification of which correspond to that of the community specified in the first Salam contract, so that he, which is the seller, can fulfill his obligation under that contract. Then there is a second contract which are called in temporary custom, parallel salam, or salam wazi. For the example, in the contract of buy Assalam A, so the customer A, let's say customer A is sugar manufacturing company, and it requires around 1 million for its operation and management. After obtaining the bank's approval on its application, let's just say that on the 1st February of 2009, the customer signs Salam, the customer A signs Salam A contract, whereby the bank will be the buyer and the customer A will be the seller. The bank then will purchase the sugar at a certain rate for around 1 million on a cash basis, and the customer must deliver the sugar to the bank on 2nd February of 2009. So this is the first contract between the bank and customer A. So now there is the second contract which are called Salam B. So in buy Salam B, after the conclusion of Salam A contract, the bank and another customer, which are called customer C, will sign a new salam B contract. In this case, the bank will become the seller and customer C will become the buyer. The bank will sell the sugar for 1.2 million. He bought for 1 million and he sells for 1.2 million and delivers the goods on the stipulated date or in the agreement date, which is on the 3rd February of 2009. So based on this example given, what can we conclude that customer A gets RM 1 million in cash and gets the profit from salam purchase to the bank because he needs RM 1 million and he sells for 1 million. And then the bank gets the profit of RM 200,000 through salam B contract. Then customer C gets the sugar needed for retail trading. Parallel salam financing is a type of financing system this type of financing product are approved by a majority of the scholars, including the accounting and auditing association, with the condition that both the first and second contract ought to be separate and not binding with one another. This contract is called as As-Salam or Al-Mawazi or Parallel As-Salam. So basically, it's a two ways of contract from the customer to the bank, and then the bank will sell to the other customer. So it's a win-win situation. Generally, there are two main contemporary fatwa pertaining to this practice of parallel salam. Jewish rule that it's in real fact, while the practice was permissible on an individual basis, yet in their opinion, it is said to be prohibited to turn it into a business mode. However, the provision was firmly diluted by the following appeal to consideration of competitiveness, tantamount to necessity. Dalah Al-Barakah Symposium, in response to a question in this regard, stated that it is not permissible to sell the object of salam prior to its receipt. It is not permissible to use this type of transaction as a systematic mode of business. This is due to the fact that salam was permitted as an exception to general legal rules based on the needs of producers that can be met through salam in individual cases without turning the latter into a systematic trade. On the other hand, if economic conditions in some Islamic countries and major benefit consideration are considered, as well as this methodology is used as a systematic business mode for special cases only, to minimize the effect of existing injustice, then it may be permitted based on that major benefit, as determined by fatwa and Sharia supervisory boards. As for the majority of scholars, such as those who sit on the Sharia board of AAOIFI, generally they resolve parallel salam as permitted with conditions. The most important is that it is not permissible for the parties to link the obligation under two salam contracts together, so that the execution of the obligation of one contract is contingent on the outcome of the other. Hence, it is necessary that both obligation and the rights under the two contracts stand alone in all respects. Therefore, if one party breaches his obligation under the first salam contract, the other party, which is the injured party, has no right to relate this damage or loss to the party with whom he conducted a parallel salam with. Consequently, he has no right on the basis of his loss or damage under the first salam to terminate the second salam contract or delay it performing it. or delay in performing it. So that's all about parallel salam financing. Thank you very much.
So lastly, for the conclusion, that we know that buy salam is a contract that involves advance payment for goods that are to be delivered later. And then there are two types of buy salam, which is ordinary salam contract and parallel salam contract. Then so why buy salam is important? Buy salam is important because it helps to removing the liquidity shortage and solve this later. So means that if the customer want to buy something, but macam dia tak cukup duit lah untuk beli, so dia minta tolong bank untuk bayarkan dulu barang itu. So after the goods arrive, and then the buyer will pay to the bank the price that the bank bayar lah masa awal. So and then why buy salam really used? Buy salam ni really used because the goods arrive after the price of the goods paid. So means that there will be a risk lah kat situ. Maksudnya kita kena bayar dulu baru kita dapat barang tu. So macam ada risk lah barang tu kita mungkin akan tak dapat barang tu balik. So but there is an advantage of buy salam, which is that we can acquire the asset at the price below market. So means that we can buy the goods at the price below market. It means at the cheaper price lah compared to the market price. So the examples of the goods that the customer buy salam is rice. Then that's it for me. Thank you.